So we are here with Andrew McCaskil. Yes, and I want to let you guys know that he had dropped some major jewels during the panel. He talked about black women having major control in the household, and I honestly want to ask you, where did you find that research? Like, how do you know for sure that's, true or false?
Yeah, sure. So I work at Nielsen. Nielsen is the definitive source of information on what consumers watch, what they buy, what they listen to in 106 countries around the world. And I'm Senior Vice President of Communications and Marketing at of Global Communications and Multicultural Marketing at Nielsen. And so we look at that data. We do a study on African American consumers every year. One, we do it to help clients better understand the consumer market, but we also do it for the culture. We do it for the community so that, Alice Walker has this quote that I love, and she says that the best way that people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. And so when we go out and we talk about the fact that African Americans have $1.3 trillion in spending power, and it's growing, right? We talk about the fact that black women control the lion's share of that money in those households, because even though spending power is not wealth, we make that really clear and when we talk about it, but all money is power. And so black people, particularly black women, are now voting not only at the ballot box, because black women vote, right? But they're also voting with their dollars. They're choosing to buy products and to support brands that support things that are important to black people and that are important to our community and our culture. But they're also voting with their influence. So sisters like you who have platforms, who are talking about things that are important to the community on their platforms and on digital platforms. So you can't miss that. It's important.
So do you feel like, me as myself, I didn't know that, I knew black women had a lot of spending power, but I didn't know that we were control of the house. So I didn't realize that certain decisions that I make, I just do it because I feel right. So do you feel that it's important for black people to actually do their research, such as, finding about the spending power, finding out about the voting power? How important is that for our community?
I mean, it's almost biblical, right? Like, there's a passage in the Bible that talks about my people perish because of lack of information, right? And so I think that that's one of the things that's really important for our community, is to have information. And that's the beauty of digital. That's the beauty of being able to go and use the internet and find people who have voices like yours that you can trust to say, hey, this sister, I trust her, right? She looks like me. She is like me. She's talking about economic power. She's got an expert on talking about economic power. That's important. We need to know that. We need to have those platforms out there. We need people creating content that looks like us, that is for us, that is about us, so that we can not only better understand our power, but we can articulate our power and use our power and leverage our power in other arenas too. It's incredibly important, because why would you have that power and not use that power to make your community better, right? And money is power. Voting is power. Our voices are power. We talk back to brands, and if we're not saying to them, let's have a more reciprocal relationship, if we're not saying to them, do you hire people who look like me, if we're not saying to them, do you support causes that are important to me, then what are we using our voices for, right?
And we speak for the millennials at Urban News, and I wanted to know, a lot of us are struggling trying to find positions in the corporate world. What can you say, since you work at a corporate office, what can you say that really helped you get your position?
Yeah, I say get experience, right? Experience oftentimes, particularly for roles that I'm looking at in marketing and communications and things like that, is that you may have to do some time in an ad agency or a PR firm, and some of those places are not necessarily always extremely culturally friendly to people who look like me and you. But you will have to do some time in some of those environments in the beginning of your career to get to the point to where you have the experience to go to a more friendly environment. It's just the nature of the beast right now, right? But I will say that those environments are getting better, because 92% of the population growth that has happened in America in the last 15 years has come from communities of color. And so if you don't have people inside your offices to help you understand those communities, you're going to miss out on that money. And the one color that trumps the color on my face and the color on your face is green. People want to understand the consumers who are buying products, and those consumers look like me and you. That's important.
Yes. Well, first of all, I didn't even know that. You were just you dropping facts, like facts. I'm like, let me just go home and read a damn book. Like, well, thank you so much for stopping by with Urban News.
Yeah.
Can you drop your Instagram and all your social media where everybody can find you?
So find me on Twitter at Drew DREW McCaskil MCCASKILL. I'm sure you guys will put it up at the bottom at Drew McCaskil on Twitter. And if you want more information like the information that I dropped today, go to Nielsen.com, NIELSEN.com/African Americans. There's a ton of data there. There's a ton of information. You can see, videos of our black executives talking about culture, talking about where we intersect with culture. You can come geek out with us a little bit. You can see what we're doing in the community. You can see things like our scholarship programs, our internship programs, our programs inside the organization to promote people of color. You can come geek out with us and see all of that stuff.
Dope. You already heard it. Are you from the South? You said geeked out a lot. Are you from the South?
Mississippi?
See, I knew it. I knew you was from the South, Mississippi. What happened to your accent?
I lived in Atlanta for 20 years.
Oh, that's why. So when it walked out, it washed away.
Right here in the